I'm Charles Payne in for Judge Andrew Napolitano, and tonight, breaking and disturbing news out of Quartzsite, Arizona. As we've reported all week on this program, the small town of Quartzsite, Arizona is engulfed in allegations of taxpayer theft and abuse of power. 9 of the city's 14 police officers have filed complaints with the state of Arizona about the police chief's abuse of power for political gain. This included arresting people who just spoke out at town hall meetings. For instance, this woman, Jennifer Jones, with us last night, was telling her story. She was one that was arrested. And then we learned that last night, those 9 officers who actually blew the whistle on their chief's corruption were put on paid administrative leave, pending an investigation into the contents of a letter that they signed. They have been ordered to stay in their homes between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. and not to speak about what's happening in their town. One of those police officers and president of Quartzsite's Police Officers Association is defying those orders right now. He's joining us along with an attorney from the Arizona Conference of Police and Sheriffs. We've welcome to Freedom Watch, Sergeant Ponce. Before we get into exactly what happened, what really alarms me is the fact that you felt compelled to take your family and hide out in a motel. Are you afraid for your safety right now?
I am concerned for the safety of my officers and the officers that are still working.
So when you received this administrative leave, what was your initial reaction? Was it a complete surprise, or was it just another in a string of reprisals that you guys have faced?
I have not actually received my letter. My officers, 5 of them, are currently on administrative leave. We are waiting until the other ones get to work, is when I'm guessing they will be served their letters also.
Attorney Cool, I'm holding the actual letter that the officers signed, the 9 officers signed, dated May 10th, saying that, listen, the police chief is more or less corrupt. Is there anything illegal about this letter and the actions that those officers took?
Charles, absolutely not. These folks here, these officers, are the victims. They're whistleblowers trying to call out run-amok government and to bring some sense back to Quartzsite government. There's absolutely nothing illegal about it.
So then, where do you go from here? It feels like, I mean, we're reporting on this story, and we're dumbfounded at the fact that these 9 officers and an entire town seems to be held hostage. What legal maneuvers are you making right now on the behalf of these officers?
Charles, I don't want to discuss all the details, but I'll tell you right now that the unions, both the Quartzsite local group and the Arizona Conference of Police and Sheriffs, our #1 priority right now is ensuring the safety of these 9 officers, the 4 officers who are left to police the entire 116 square mile jurisdiction in Quartzsite, and most importantly, we're doing everything we can to protect the people of Quartzsite because the chief has left them virtually without any police protection.
Well, the chief has left him high and dry, but it feels like almost everyone else in the state has. What's happened to the leadership in that state? Where's the governor? Where's the attorney general? Where's everyone else to help these guys out?
That's an excellent question, and we have a problem with folks not supporting law enforcement enough. This is a classic example of where the governor can step in and show her support for police by ordering DPS to assist and to quickly conclude the investigation into Chief Gilbert so that the truth about what he's done and these allegations can come to light.
Officer Ponce, give us a sense of the town. What's the aura like? Are people walking around in fear? Is it like a scene from High Noon? I mean, give us a sense because it sounds like a very deadly situation.
Most of the citizens are very upset and concerned. They're not getting their police services as they should be, and they're just upset because of the fact of what the chief has done. They can't even believe it. They're in awe.
They're in awe, but I mean, are people afraid? Obviously, you moved your family into a motel. You were ordered not to even come outside. I mean, that's martial law in your town. You mean to tell me people aren't afraid? They're not calling relatives? They're not fleeing?
People are very concerned. As far as I've been told by people, they're calling every law agency they can outside of the town of Quartzsite, trying to get something done about what is occurring right now.
All right, guys, listen, I got to wish you luck. We've been on top of this story. We're going to stay on top of it. I thank you for your bravery in defying the order against you, Officer Ponce, and good luck with it. And Attorney James Cool, we appreciate your time tonight as well.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
We got in touch with Al Johnson, the assistant town manager, who signed a notice of investigation, but he hung up when he found out we were calling from Freedom Watch. For more on the latest details and developments in Quartzsite, we go now to embattled mayor of that town, Ed Foster. Welcome back to Freedom Watch, Mayor. So what was your reaction when you heard that 2/3 of Quartzsite's police force had been placed on administrative leave last night?
I was appalled. I tried to make contact with the state government agencies. I was out of town at the time. I was down in Yuma shopping, and people were calling me concerned for their safety, because of this such a radical move on the part of the town administration against these officers. They were concerned that not just them might be the target, but some of the political opposition might also be targeted. So,
Mayor, are you saying then that physically, people are concerned physically about the remaining officers and the police chief actually coming and harming them and their families?
Well, you got to realize, sir, that out of the officers that remain on duty, in fact, all of the officers, because Sergeant Schultz is away on military duty right now, but the remaining officers, including the chief, all of them are under criminal investigation by the DPS right now. And so we have essentially the good officers right now facing house arrest for 8 hours a day, and the officers who should be on leave or administrative leave patrolling the streets of Quartzsite right now. And it's, people were alarmed yesterday because this happened so suddenly and with no announcement that, they were concerned, well, where do we stand, in this police chief's eyes? He's acting irrationally right now.
So the citizens themselves, do they look to the police chief? In other words, do they look to him as the de facto leader of your town, and are they intimidated and afraid right now?
Well, I'll tell you what. He and the town manager are in charge in this emergency that they manufactured and put together here. And since they've stopped paying me as mayor, I guess that puts him in charge, wouldn't you think?
I would think so. Mayor, let me ask, though, how the hell did you lose control of this town? I mean, it seems the mayor is in control. How did they do this to you? Did they force you out? Did they intimidate you? Did they threaten you? How did they kick you out of the role of being the leader of that town?
Well, they never kicked me out, actually, and I'm still the mayor. I mean, I'm the elected executive officer of the corporation. But what they've done is they've minimalized and taken away all the authority and responsibilities of the mayor, up to and including right now. Under a state of emergency, it should be turned over to a constitutional officer. And right now, there's no constitutional officer in charge. The council has abdicated that to the town manager and the police chief. So,
right. Is there a process in Arizona for you to confer with other mayors to work up the chain of command and to bring in some help to get this situation resolved immediately?
Actually, no, and that's part of the problem. There's sort of a vacuum out there right now. And the fact is that there's only two real duties that are stipulated in Arizona law. I am the chief executive officer for whatever that means. That means when checks or laws are written, I have to sign off on the new laws. And I'm presiding officer of the council meeting, which, if you saw that video, you know absolutely that they tried to trample all over that job,
Yeah.
So they've just absolutely taken away all of the responsibility and jobs of the mayor and taken it on to themselves. So it's really, the really chilling part since I've been here the last time was that I've read signed statements made by these officers, and the chilling part is
right.
The police department has been ordered I may say, to interact and do harm to the political opposition in town. I mean,
to
that's
physically harm them.
Statement.
Wow. It's interesting, maybe ironic in a way that you were in Yuma, because this reminds me of that old movie, what was it, the 3:10 to Yuma. It's out of control.
Yeah.
We're going to stay on top of this. America needs to know this story. You guys need to keep sending out the SOS. Thank you very much, Mayor Foster, and good luck with this.
Hey, and thanks for your support, Charles.
It's been
fun talking to you.
Same here.
Bye.
Well, we reached out to the Arizona Department of Public Safety, which did not have a timeline for when their investigation would be complete. When asked to comment about the notices Quartzsite's police officers received last night, a DPS spokesperson said, quote, "We're not in charge of Quartzsite." Governor Brewer's office referred us to the Attorney General, whose spokesperson told us a statement from their office would be forthcoming. As of taping, we had not received that statement yet. And we also called Arizona Congressman Raul Grijalva, whose district includes Quartzsite. Remarkably, he would not come on this show because he does not like Fox. After we pressed the issue with him to put aside his problems with Fox for the good of his constituents, he finally sent a statement. Quote, "My understanding from the mayor is that he has asked the FBI to investigate the situation in Quartzsite. While that investigation proceeds, access to government meetings and other functions normally open to the public should not be hindered. I do not feel it appropriate to comment further or inject myself in the situation while the investigation is still underway." End quote.